What's up, Vince Talk Nation? What's up, Dolphin Nation? How you doing today? We're going to go ahead and recap the loss by the Miami Dolphins of 33-8. Yesterday, they got their ass beat by the Indianapolis Colts. Are the Miami Dolphins already in need of changes after the Week 1 loss of 33-8? Let me go ahead and tell you break down some stats, and then I'll read to you an article from the Sun Sentinel. Total offense and total yards, 211 yards. Rushing yards, total, 78, even though SI says it was 75. Passing yards from Tua Tagovailoa, total yards, 114 yards. First half, total yards, 43 yards. First downs, 12. 5 rushing, 7 passing. Third down conversion, 7 of 15. Fourth down conversion, 1 of 2. Turnover differential, 3. Tua had 2 interceptions and a fumble. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, 14 of 23 for 114 yards. 2 interceptions and 1 fumble on a sack. And 1 of 3 sacks that led to the lost fumble. QB rating for the game for Tua Tagovailoa, 51.7%. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle combined for 8 receptions for 70 yards. Tyreek Hill individually, 4 receptions for 40 yards. Rushing and standouts. Devon Achane, lone big play, screen pass converted on a 4th and goal to end near the goal line, resulting in Miami's only touchdown, followed by a successful 2-point conversion. SI says that they had 75 yards of total rushing, nearly 7 yards per carry. For injuries, right guard James Daniel had a pectoral injury in the first quarter. Cornerback Storm Duck in the second half hurt his ankle. Both left the game and were ruled out. Again, final score, your Miami Dolphins 8 and the Indianapolis Colts 33. Total offense for the Miami Dolphins, 211 yards. Total rushing yards, 75 yards. Total passing yards, 114. First half, total offense, 43 yards. First down, 12. And, guys, this was an atrocious performance. In my opinion, McDaniel and Greer their seats should be extremely hot. If I was Stephen Ross, I would already fire them, but I know he'll probably give them 3 or 4 more games before that were to happen, is my assumption. Now, let's go ahead and read to you what observations Chris Perkins from the Sun Sentinel wrote in an article. And the title of the article, Things We Learned in the Miami Dolphins 33-8 season opening loss at the Indianapolis Colts. And this was in yesterday, actually, right after the game. Indianapolis, this was ugly as it gets for the Miami Dolphins in a 33-8 loss at Indianapolis Sunday. The offense wasn't a threat. The defense wasn't a threat. And a special teams penalty opened the door for a Colts 17-play drive that resulted in a field goal at the halftime buzzer. Game-ending injuries to cornerback Sam Duck and guard James Daniels' pectoral and Sam Duck left ankle made things much worse. Beyond that, however, Coach McDaniel had no answers for what Indianapolis coach Shane Steichen cooked up. Here's what we observed. Tua was awful. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa ended 14 for 23 for 114 yards, 2 interceptions, and a lost fumble, and a passer rating of 51.7%. His first interception resulted in a 14-play, 84-yard Colts touchdown. His lost fumble on the next possession ended in a 5-play, 42-yard touchdown drive, and his second interception resulted in 7 plays, 48-yard field goal drive, and a 23-0 Colts lead. Tua didn't do much right on Sunday. The 3 turnovers, 17 points. Obviously, that's an ugly start to a season. O-line still hasn't had time together. The first quarter pectoral injury to right guard James Daniels means that the Dolphins starting offensive line, a focal point of the offseason, still hasn't spent much time together. Early in the offseason, center Aaron Brewer was sidelined. Then right tackle Austin Jackson missed time with a toe injury. And now Daniels, Miami's big ticket free agent, with his 3-year, $24 million deal, is injured. Daniels, of course, was limited to 4 games last season with the Pittsburgh Steelers before being sidelined with a right Achilles injury. He was questionable for the game with a left ankle injury. Youngsters get early action. The Dolphins are now trying to win with youth and draftees, and it didn't go well Sunday. Among the first and second year players, quarterback Storm Duck, Jason Marshall, running back Ollie Gordon II, wide receiver Malik Washington, safety Dante Trader Jr., defensive tackles Kenneth Grant and Jordan Phillips, and left guard Jonas Savaiinaea all got early significant action. Duck left the game with an ankle injury. Savaiinaea seemed to do okay, and Marshall ended with 1 tackle. Grant ended with 4 tackles. Gordon ended with 2 carries for 4 yards. Washington had 1 reception for 9 yards. Phillips had 5 tackles. Tua to Tyreek, shaky start. The Tua to wide receiver Tyreek Hill connection, which was shaky to end last season in games at Houston and San Francisco, was shaky to start the game Sunday as they sustained a first quarter interception when Tagovailoa overthrew Hill, ended with 4 receptions for 40 yards. The two hardly spent time together in the offseason as Hill had right wrist surgery and an oblique injury. The Tua to Hill on the field relationship is a bigger concern than off the field relationship. Sloppy play crushes the Dolphins. The Dolphins were incredibly sloppy among 3 turnovers by Tua Tagovailoa, 2 interceptions, and 1 lost fumble. A coverage bust that allowed it a touchdown reception, and outside linebacker Matthew Judon getting called for running into the punter that gave the Colts a first down, and that eventually resulted in a field goal and a 20-0 Colts halftime lead. The Judon penalty allowed the Colts to have 17-play, 72-yard drive that included, after the penalty, a 14-yard completion on a 3rd and 10 from the Colts 36 and a 6-yard completion on a 4th and 2 from the Dolphins 42-yard line. Edge rushers largely negated. The Colts offensive line is regarded among the best in the league, and they have lived up to that billing against the Dolphins edge rushers. Bradley Chubb 1 sack, Jalen Phillips and Chop Robinson and Matthew Judon. The Dolphins hardly touched the Colts quarterback, Daniel Jones. Meanwhile, the left side of the Colts offensive line, guard Quinn Nelson and tackle Bernard Remain were as good as advertised. The edge rushers were unable to buy time for the under construction secondary. Jones went to work early and ended 22 for 29 for 272 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and a passer rating of 115.9 passer rating. Cornerbacks get tested in a couple ways and fail. The cornerbacks were a huge question mark entering the game, and they failed the test as far as performance and health. Starters Storm Duck and Jack Jones and nickel slot Jason Marshall Jr. didn't have much success early. After Storm Duck went down in the second half with a left ankle injury, cornerback Rasul Douglas got some playing time. It didn't matter. The cornerbacks failed to make plays and failed to cover receivers. There's a lot of room for growth. The Kenneth Grant, Tyler Warren question. The Dolphins drafted defensive tackle Kenneth Grant at number 13, and the Colts quickly drafted tight end Tyler Warren at number 14. Grant ended up with 4 tackles. Warren ended with 7 receptions for 76 yards. In light of the Dolphins' tight end issues with veteran Darren Waller, who was inactive Sunday, he was declared out Friday due to a hip strain. There's room to question the Dolphins' selection. Of course, there's room to question the Dolphins' selection on draft night 2. Sunday shined a brighter light on the situation as Warren The rookie from Penn State had 5 receptions for 57 yards in the first half alone. He arguably should have had a third quarter touchdown, but safety Minka Fitzpatrick slipped and seemed to have interfered with Warren. No penalty was called. In other Dolphin rough opener, the reasons vary. The Dolphins are becoming known for rough starts. This year, outside of linebacker coach Ryan Crowe was arrested for battery a little more than a week before the opener. The Dolphins laid an egg in the opener at Indianapolis. The two events aren't related, but both happened. Last year, of course, Hill was detained by the law enforcement prior to the opening game. In 2019, they were blasted 59-10 by Baltimore. In 2018, they defeated Tennessee 27-20. But the game took over 7 hours and 8 minutes and was the NFL's longest game thanks to 2 lightning delays. In 2017, the schedule opened against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was postponed due to the threat of a hurricane prior to the de facto opener at the Los Angeles Chargers. An assistant coach was involved with an infamous video, and linebacker Lawrence Timmons went AWOL. Dolphins offense falls flat. Credit to Lou Aniramo. The much-hyped Dolphins offense didn't do anything Sunday. No fireworks, no big plays, no excitement. McDaniel's offensive coordinator Frank Smith, quarterback coach Darrell Bevell, and senior passing game coordinator Bobby Slowick were all outsmarted by Colts defensive coordinator Lou Aniramo, the former Dolphins secondary coach. By the way, Aniramo had a similar result in 2022 when he was the Cincinnati defensive coordinator, and the Bengals defeated the Dolphins. Tagovailoa's ball security issues are pronounced as ever. In the past 2 to 3 to 4 games, Tagovailoa has had 5 interceptions and 3 fumbles. If you go back to the second diagnosed concussion of 2022 against the Packers, he's played 31 games. He's had thrown on slightly 27 interceptions and 21 fumbles in that time, 1.55 per game. He had 20 picks and 16 fumbles in the first 35 games, 1.03 per game. By comparison, in 82 career games, Justin Herbert, who the Dolphins passed over to pick Tagovailoa, has 77 interceptions and fumbles combined. First quarter scoring has become a problem for the Dolphins. In Miami's past 8 games, the Dolphins have scratched across 18 points in the opening 15 minutes, partly average of 2.2 per first quarter. An athletic tight end gouged the Dolphins yet again. That's true, he had 79 yards and 8 touches. And that was Tyler Warren, the tight end of the Indianapolis Colts. Hill made 4 catches. Hill made a catch for 4 yards, getting stopped backwards by Javarius Ward on the Colts sideline. The back of the helmet bounced off the turf with major force, something to monitor. All right, guys. That's all I have for you, but like I said, this is an 0-1 start. If they go to 0-3, will Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel get fired? And then Mike McDaniel also continues to have issues getting the play calls in on time. He had to do a couple timeouts yesterday, and we've seen that for now 3 years in 1 game. This is year 4. You shouldn't be having those issues. In my opinion, Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer should be fired. Leave me your comments down below, and like always, stay positive, stay on your grind, and go Dolphins.